Welcome to this webinar hosted by OiS&x and Fourlane on the topic of having problems managing your inventory using QuickBooks? Talk to an expert. But before we get started, let's learn a little bit more about our speakers. Our speakers today are Lori Walsh and Frank Monterrosa. Lori Walsh is a Fourlane partner and QuickBooks expert, which will be answering the frequently asked questions we received from OIS customers who need help managing their inventory in QuickBooks Desktop and online. A little bit more about Lori. Lori works with customers from many different industries, including e-commerce, manufacturing, and retail. She has more than 30 years experience in accounting and management, with a master's in business administration from Ashford University. Lori is an Inuit Certified Pro Advisor with advanced certifications in QuickBooks Enterprise and QuickBooks Time. Frank Monterrosa is her co-host today. He is the OIS Product Specialist who will be assisting Lori in asking the frequently asked questions and any additional questions that come up during the webinar regarding our OIS mobile solutions and integrations with QuickBooks. A little bit more about Frank. Frank graduated with honors and earned his bachelor's in marketing and advertising. He has participated in many leadership and entrepreneurship courses with more than 15 years of experience in customer service, marketing, and sales. Currently, he manages the U.S. and Latin American markets for OiS&x. In this video, we will be reviewing the frequently asked question, how do I best set up and organize my inventory in QuickBooks, add or adjust my inventory?
Question, Lori, that we have is, how do I best set up and organize my inventory in QuickBooks, add or adjust? Is this supported in the two versions of QuickBooks?
So in desktop, we can do sub items, which is kind of reflected on that top picture. What that allows us to do is kind of like a parent-child, so a sub item under the main item, which allows to kind of group things together a little more effectively. In online, there are category types. Now, those are a little bit different, but you can still, depending on if you need to pull data out, right? So reports and stuff, both of those will help you. So we want to make it easy, right, for when somebody's placing an order, for instance, maybe a purchase order, sales order. So understanding like how they need to be grouped together will allow us to determine the best way to put it in here. But usually these two methods are going to be the most effective way.
I see. And how easy is to adjust physical inventory in QuickBooks? Can it be done by importing an Excel file? Usually, this wholesales and distributors, they do, physical inventory and adjust inventory. Is it easy to do it through an import? Or what is the best way to do, I'd say, physical inventory?
Okay, so I'm going to focus on the desktop product because they're a little bit different. So on the desktop product, there are inventory worksheets inside in the report center, which allows them to take physical counts. We can do some imports with certain import tools, or you can do it manually if you're doing that. The desktop version also supports cycle counts, which allows us to be more on top of our inventory throughout the year instead of always relying on that physical inventory possibly at the end of the year. In online, there are tools to import there as well. It's just a little bit different.
I see. Thank you, Lori. Look, in regards to this, yesterday I was talking to an existing customer and he was asking me this. When I'm creating a credit memo for product that I return, how does this affect my inventory? Whenever you create a credit memo, does this affect my physical inventory? My inventory?
It can. So anytime we use an item or a product service, so in desktop, it's called an item, and in online it's called a product service. They're basically the same. But if we set those up as an inventory type, which means I need to know how many of those I have in the system, right? Or how many are on the shelf, whatever our situation is. The minute I put that on a transaction, so transaction would be a credit memo, a bill, an invoice, or a vendor credit, it is going to impact my inventory.
Perfect. That you answered perfectly my question. In following the example of a distribution company, can I assign a warehouse location to each product to facilitate the picking process? Could this be doable on the online, on the desktop version, or just on the desktop version?
Okay, so the desktop allows for multiple inventory sites, at which point when we receive the inventory, we would assign it to that location, which means when we invoice, we pull it from that location. So the invoice, so it would designate a site for each line, basically, so that we know where we're pulling it from. In online, it does not have, at this point, we don't have the capability for multiple inventory sites, but it does maintain an inventory level. We just would not necessarily know, we wouldn't have that ability to designate it by a truck or, you know, this warehouse versus this warehouse.
Excellent. Thank you, Lori. Let's move on to the next.